Hello, welcome. My name is Glory, and welcome to the Rankadvertiser podcast, where we inspire, enlighten, and empower every single person today. Welcome. If you're already there, you are listening. We welcome you today to the podcast. We're starting in a minute. Make sure to share, make sure to spread the word because we're about to start. Today I have a special guest for all of you. Make sure to share the podcast. So we are about to start in a minute. Today we'll be talking about the benefits of health, and we're going to really explore with Beth in detail. So make sure to share the podcast with everyone on your network because we're about to start soon. Hello, welcome. My name is Glory, and welcome to the Rankadvertiser podcast, where we inspire, enlighten, and empower every single person every day. So today we have Beth with us today. Beth, she has a 20 years experience in marketing, advertising. She has a business as well. And one of the things interesting about Beth, she is also retired realtor as of 2011, which she loved doing while partnering with her mother. As an independent entrepreneur for the last 13 years, Beth has dedicated her life to helping others succeed by building a global network of consumer online. She currently leads a team of over 19,000 people in 7 countries. She is very passionate about teaching anyone willing to do the work how to master a way of earning an income that leverage a little bit of work from a network of people in order to make their dreams come true. That is why her company is called Team Dream Extreme. She is also a passionate advocate for preventive health care strategies, a national spokeswoman for Women's Heart, the only national advocacy organization for women with heart disease, an active Rotarian and past president of Rotary Club, an ambassador for the National Cancer Coalition, and an athlete, an athlete addicted to tennis and her Peloton bike. As you guys can see, she's a very amazing and very accomplished woman. So I am excited to have her here on the podcast. So let me tell you more about Beth as well. She believes everything in her life has led her to this place, and she's on a mission to support as many people as possible to have the type of success that she enjoys. And also one of the things important to notice is that she's been happily married for 35 years to her childhood sweetheart, Viv. She has 2 wonderful grandchildren. Erica, who is 27 years old, she's engaged. And also Kyle, who's 25 years old. So in a minute, I'm gonna bring Beth for you all. I hope you all are excited. We have Beth coming up in a minute. Okay, without further ado, Beth, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Lord. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for putting the time. I'm very excited to have you in the podcast today. And any words before we get started?
No, just welcome everybody and thank you so much for joining. Lori and I, we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about health and we're going to talk about ways that we can contribute to other people's lives. So we're looking forward to it. Thank you so much for being with us.
Perfect. Beth, for those people who doesn't know a little bit about you, what would you tell them? Can you tell our audience who you are and what you do, so that they have an idea about you?
Sure, absolutely. Well, as the introduction said, for the last 13 years, I have been an entrepreneur focusing on helping people who are wanting to do the work to build a global network of consumers online. And I've been very blessed and fortunate to have wonderful mentors and trainers in my life who have guided me on a road towards success. And we all need a bunch of those in our lives, I'll tell you. And that's one of the things that I enjoy doing as well is giving back, because one of my primary mentors, a gentleman by the name of Jimmy Smith, has offered so much of his time and his wonderful wisdom to assist us in reaching, as you said, almost 20,000 people now in 7 countries. And we do that on a platform form of health and wellness. I'm a heart attack survivor, and in fact, it'll be 20 years in December this year. And, it was just a bunch of different things in my life that really helped motivate me to get very serious about investigating and researching all of the things going on within our food supply and get a really good understanding of those things so that then I can help educate other people about what I've learned and based on the people that I've surrounded myself with who know a lot more than I do, honestly, about nutrition, because many of them are naturopathic MDs and come from many more years than 13, understanding what preventative healthcare really looks like.
Perfect. That is amazing, Beth. Thank you so much. My first question is, can you describe in few words how your company's product and service is solving a problem in the marketplace?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll attempt to do it in a few words. It's a company that's been around for a little over 18 years now, and it's began its entire focus on cleansing the body from impurities on a cellular level. So this company is known as the world's leader in nutritional cleansing. And for people who don't really understand what intermittent fasting is, it's a science that really helps us appreciate that when the body is in more of a resting phase, as opposed to working to digest food throughout all of its systems, it really is able to focus on other areas and use that energy to do some really extraordinary things. And when we use our Cleanse for Life juice to assist us in removing toxins on a cellular basis, it's amazing what happens to the body when it's no longer bogged down in all of the things from our air and our water and our food that slow us up. It enables us to see life from a very different perspective. I often say that people who have never used a technology that allows them to cleanse their body of toxicity, sometimes we just don't know how kind of cruddy we feel until all of a sudden we don't. So that's what I love to be able to do, is to guide people through how to really step up and level up how they care for their bodies with great nutrition.
Nice, perfect. That's amazing. Nutrition is very important, keeping the health. I love how one of my mentor used to say, he said, health is wealth. If you can be healthy, you can be wealthy, because if you're not healthy, you'll constantly be spending on taking care of yourself. So it's very important to prioritize health. That's why today we are having this conversation. So in terms of product line in the business, Is there a reason behind each product?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, now the company actually has over 100 different products to choose from, and each one of them has a very specific targeted need, and it's addressing a very specific need with a very specific solution. So yeah, absolutely. In fact, we purchased an additional company in January of this year that focuses entirely on those things that are plant-based. We have a lot of plant-based products within our entire line, but the closer you get to the earth, the easier it is really to assist your body in returning to its natural state. So there's a huge influx of vegan and vegetarian lifestyles that are out there in our world, and this company wants to make sure and address every type of need that's available. Some people can tolerate dairy well, others can't so much anymore. So we want to have a wide variety of different products available. As I said, each of them with a very specific targeted response to a need.
And perfect. That is amazing. And my next question that I had in mind was, what are the health benefit of the product or services? If you could, I know there's hundreds of products that are serving a specific need, so if you can just pick some of them so we can share with the audience so they know what's available to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the ones that are probably the most relevant right now are ones that have to do with stress, the ones that have to do with challenges getting a good night's sleep. There's a lot of things going on in our country and our world right now that could interfere in both of those things. So I just kind of picked those two out, and there's so many different things that we could focus on, but I think maybe focusing on stress and sleep could be relevant right now to our audience. So in terms of stress, there are a very large grouping of plant-based resources available that are known as adaptogens. And they literally are plants that are able to adapt to a very changing environment. And so the results of being able to consume those plants means that our body's nervous system actually has an opportunity to adapt as well when we consume them. So one product in particular that I love in the entire line is called Ionic Supreme. And it is made up predominantly of adaptogens. So we really honestly refer to it as our stress buster. And it does really assist in that. In fact, you know, with all the moms at home right now and families at home that are homeschooling their children, the levels of stress just with that alone, because it's kind of a new thing. Ionic Supreme would be a fantastic resource for each and every one of those individuals. In terms of sleep, there's a lot of different things that you can consume that say that they help with sleep.
Yes.
The one that I love, that I know works, and in fact works for a lot of people that have had chronic issues with sleep, is a melatonin spray. And the reason that it's really important that it's a spray is because it gets into the bloodstream far more rapidly. So we have our sleep support system that is a very pure form of melatonin. Even if you've tried melatonin before and you've not had success with it, if you've ever tried it in a capsule form, give it a try. In terms of it being in a spray, you'll be so surprised by the difference. It works really well to make sure you get a great night's sleep. So those would just be a couple that I think are fairly relevant right now in terms of the things going on around us.
That is true. Especially with COVID, people are home and they're constantly on their screen. And, you know, some people are very stressed about not being able to meet other people. And in terms of consumption, is there like, let's say, for example, if someone was like, okay, you know, I'm feeling a little bit of stress right now due to what's going on, will you recommend them to also try some of the products to kind of enable them to relax and really go through their day without wondering about other things?
Absolutely. Yeah, those two products, especially are really focused in on stress relief and then on sleep. The other thing that's really important to understand, as all the research that I've done in terms of our food supply in particular, is that we're missing key nutrients and particularly minerals from the soils that are that a lot of the growth that we use within our communities, and particularly here in the U.S. And so we really need to be able to have things that are not necessarily grown here, unfortunately, because they're missing key nutrients, particularly minerals. Because minerals are rocks, and if you don't have the microorganisms in the soil that breaks those rocks down, then our plants can't uptake them. So things that are really mineral dense are incredibly helpful. And one of those things is our isolene shake. So that would be another good recommendation. That's actually a meal replacement. And it would be really helpful for those people who are missing minerals in their life.
Okay, that is amazing. And one of the things I'd like to ask is for people who are already healthy, for example, there are always the consumer who are listening is like, okay, I love that we're talking about health. I love that we're talking about a lot of supplements and a lot of products that are available. And there may be someone there asking themselves, is it important for me to also take some supplements, or although I'm doing well, I have nothing going on? So what would you say to that person out there?
Yeah, and that's such a great question, Gloria. I appreciate you asking that because I run into that all the time. And I think particularly given that, there is this increase that's happening all around us of people who are recognizing that preventative healthcare is incredibly important. And so what I would say to those people is that I agree with you. I think that, when you're eating a whole food diet, particularly if it's plant-based and if it's organic, you're getting a really good supply. The thing that I know is also true is that, when we have been in our typical lives, right, when we're always on the go and we're really moving around a lot, sometimes it's very difficult to make sure that we are taking the time to prepare meals. And some of the, not only cost associated with that, but more importantly, the time. So what I would suggest is that, if you're a whole foods person and you are, taking your time to eat organically, and you are really clear about the nutrients that your body requires in order for it to be optimally performing for you, that's awesome. Good for you. I love that. And I would also add that having a resource available to you
Mhm.
that can supplement what you're already doing and complement what you're already doing, as opposed to making any real significant changes in it. It's really, I think, important to recognize that while we would love to all eat organic all the time, unfortunately, what we refer to as organic today is not regulated. So it makes it very difficult to actually understand and believe that what you're purchasing is truly organic, because there's no real way to know that. If you're going to any one of the farmers markets, awesome.
Mhm.
You have a very much significant increased chance, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, lots of them are not open right now. So that's another reason that having a company that is dedicated to non-GMO, organic, very easily digestible, very high quality nutrients and proteins is just a wonderful resource to have at your fingertips.
And Beth, what would you say in terms of those days we have those company where they have their products where you have people put a certification that it's green. What do you think about all of that and like certifying something? Um, is it just a label that people put? Because some of the product I will see people like putting like it's like a certification that it's organic. Is there a need for it in the market, or do you think it's just labels that people do for marketing?
Well, again, it's a great question, Glory, and I wish I had the answer. It is
Okay.
kind of that $24 million question right now, because without it being regulated, it makes it very difficult to guarantee
Mm-hmm.
that the products that are labeled as organic are actually coming from organic farming practices.
Yeah,
It doesn't mean that it's not possible. It just means that it's very difficult for anyone at this point to be able to demonstrate precisely.
precisely.
Yeah, the thing that makes it really different in the world that I live in is that we know, because we're only finding ingredients and purchasing ingredients from farms that are able to be certified as organic based on the nutrients that they add back into their soils.
Okay.
So it has a lot to do with where you're finding ingredients and how you're creating the products that you're creating.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
my other question I have in mind right now is for the people who don't know, they're like, okay, you guys are talking organic and non-organic. So what is the importance of going organic? Who, as a health, as someone who knows a lot about health, what would you say to that person?
Yeah, so a great question. And a lot of it has to do with what we're doing, not only to the soils, but what we're also doing to the plant life itself. Organic means that we are actually adding microorganisms into the soil, which again helps those rocks that are minerals that are incredibly important be broken down so that our plants have the ability to add those minerals into their root structure and therefore into what it is that we're going to be consuming. That's the first thing. The next thing is the use of herbicides and pesticides, particularly in our country, particularly in most commercial farming. It's very, very difficult for us to be able to not use those types of things in a large commercial farm, because there's so many plants that we're attempting to be able to grow and have thrive. So when you're using organic farming, they're not using those same types of very deadly toxins that are in the form of herbicides and pesticides. They're caring for the plants in a very different way than commercial farming has historically done. And I could give you chapter and verse about years and years and decades of all of the research studies that have been out there now. I mean, we're only just figuring out all of the downsides of Roundup, as an example. So just one of many, many companies that have been out there historically wanting to make sure that we have ample quantity of food available, and perhaps not spending as much time ensuring the safety and quality of those foods.
Perfect. For those of you out there, we are here with Beth and we're talking about health and wellness. So that was our first segment. Hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope you guys are feeling it. I hope you all are in the moment, because now we're going to be moving to the second part of it, and where I'm going to ask some questions. So this is just to make you a little bit digest what we've been chatting about. Hopefully you're excited. Perfect. Now we're gonna go to the second segment, and we're gonna start it with a very interesting question that I have here. So Beth, I have another question here. In terms of vitamins and supplements, for people who've never taken that before, why what are they missing out on?
Oh my gosh. Well, again, a chapter and verse on that. And I have to tell you, honestly, that's part of the challenge, is that there's such conflicting information out there about supplementation. So it's no wonder that people are a little confused about the benefits of that. For people who have never supplemented before, what I would say to you is that as we age, there are certain things within our bodies that our bodies no longer produce. One of those very specific needs within our body is an enzyme called CoQ10. It helps us with heart health. It helps us with brain health. It helps us with all kinds of other things that happen in our body. And because as we age, we don't manufacture as much of it. In fact, in our late 40s, it pretty much takes a nosedive right off of a cliff in terms of how much production it creates. So that's the thing that's really important, I think, to understand. It's not that we necessarily everyone needs to supplement, although that would certainly be what I would suggest based on what I know.
Yeah.
But it's really, it has to do with understanding what happens as we age.
Okay.
Because we have to supplement in things that we no longer create enough of in our body in order to maintain the same level of health.
Perfect. So that's amazing. And I have a question for those people experiencing some health issues. Do you have any product that's solving, that's healing a specific problem? For them just to know kind of like what are my options? Can I be healed with the product? Is there any product healing anything? Yeah, that's the question I have for you.
Yeah. So because this company is not a medical company, we have to be very careful about how we address healing. So just with that aside, but what I can say is that what I've seen in a number of the clients that I have had the privilege of serving, a lot of our health-related issues begin in our gut.
Yes.
And so it's incredibly important that we are really focusing on digestive health to the best of our ability at all times because of that reality. So we do have a number of key products that are focused on digestive health. And I can name over a dozen of those that are just focused on really helping make sure that you have optimal gut health. In addition to that, I'm amazed by the number of people who are having incredible results in a number of different key ways by utilizing our CBD oil.
Can you share with us a couple of the results?
Yes, oh, totally.
That's
Like,
amazing.
so I actually have osteoarthritis in my family. And I've been noticing that some of my joints have become a little ouchy in certain locations and in certain ways that I'm holding my thumbs in particular. It may have something to do with playing with technology all day long too. I don't know. But I'm using the CBD oil. And I'm using it topically, and it is having significant improvements in the inflammation of my joints. Would I call it healed? I would more call it relieved.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is really, really what people who are dealing with any kind of discomfort in any joint is what they're searching for. So, because it's a very, very pure variety of CBD oil that has some peppermint in it, I'm really finding just significant benefits to myself and to people that I'm recommending it to.
Perfect. So my next question I have, Beth, is for the people who are already excited, they listen to the health as we're developing the topic, and they're like, whoa, I want to be in this business, and they're asking, how can I get into this business? So what would be your answer to the people who really want to get into this?
Yeah, well, we first of all love to have you. I mean, our goal ultimately is to have hundreds of thousands of people who are participating with us in all of the countries where these amazing nutritional products are available. There are 26 of those, so many, many countries all over the world. The easiest way for you to do that is literally just to send me an email. And that's beth@masterthenewway.com. And as soon as you do that, then, I can be in communication with you directly, and we can then find out what are your needs. Because and we all are, everyone in our community, we're all about providing solutions for people's needs. Whether those are health related or whether those are, I'd really like to figure out another way to have an income stream from my home. We have the ability to help them do and master both of those things. So probably the best way is to reach out via email. We also have a website that we love because it includes a free health questionnaire as well as a wealth questionnaire. And you can go to that to do both of those things at www.masterthenewway, all lowercase, all one word.com. And you can be in touch with us that way as well.
Perfect. And my next question is more of for those of people who kind of want to have an idea about if you also offer mentorship. Is there an opportunity where you can show them how to and help them grow in this business and really give them the tools that they need in order to be successful as well?
Totally. Yes. Thank you for asking that. I so appreciate it. Yeah. So, there's so many tools that are out there for each of us on an ongoing basis, right? And so I've kind of dived into the teachable way of communicating very specific steps that we encourage everyone who wants to build a business that's global from their home. So we have an online course that is available through Teachable. It's very affordable. It's $97. And it really helps people get a 13-year jumpstart, if you will, because it's the combination of all that I've learned in the amount of time that I've been in this profession. So that's certainly one tool. The additional tools, are very much about our website in terms of Master the New Way. And in terms of mentorship, absolutely. All of the mentorship, all of the time that we devote to making sure that people fulfill their dreams, those are all part of what we do. And all of that mentorship is included in just being a part of our community. So you bet. In fact, there are a number of people that I work with, and we have anywhere from a half an hour to an hour a week that is just devoted to time for them.
Perfect, Beth. Thank you so much. That's very, very, very powerful. And as we are almost ending our podcast today, I wanted to ask my last question. For people who are out there and they want to know what is the best way to connect with you, Beth, they're like, I want to get in touch with Beth, and can you give her an opportunity to tell us where to go? So what would you say?
Yeah. Well, like I said, email is a great way to reach me. I'm on that a lot. I'm also on LinkedIn. And that's Elizabeth Baska on LinkedIn. So hit me up there anytime you want to. We also have a Facebook group called Team Dream Extreme. So lots of other ways to be able to reach out to me. I also love to text communicate as well as spend time on the phone and doing Zoom calls all day long, especially during COVID. And so my cell phone number is another really great way, and that's 206-459-2854. I'm in the Seattle, Washington area, and so the 206 is my area code.
Thank you so much, Beth. This has been an amazing podcast. I'm really happy that you're here and you share with our audience the value of health and some of the questions that people have in mind in terms of health today. I'm very happy that you've been part of it. Is there any last words that you have in mind that you'd like to share with us before we close?
Well, thank you so much, Glory, for making this opportunity available. I'm just so thrilled to have a chance to connect with so many people. I think just in closing, I would just say, it's really important that we each become an advocate for our own health, and that we are working towards generating an additional stream of income, because that's what lots of folks are needing right now. And so I'm happy to share both of those with anyone who would appreciate learning more and being a part of a really amazing community.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Beth. As you guys can hear, if you want to make money and also you want to be healthy, you know where to go. Contact Beth, connect with her, and I am so happy that you all have spent the time with us today. Thank you for listening to the podcast, and I look forward to speaking with you all and sharing and commenting and reading your comments on Facebook. So find us at Rankadvertiser.com or on iTunes, Spotify, Rankadvertiser podcast. Thank you so much. This is where we enlighten, inspire, and empower every single person today.